It's the good stuff. Anyways, why does it look like I've been crying? An excellent question. I've been crying because I've just been having like a 4-hour long meltdown that I've been trying not to have, and in the process ruined an otherwise lovely lovely evening. It's an interesting thing this time of the year because there's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations that we put on ourselves, that sometimes other people put on us too. And it's really hard because you want to be the right kind of person for everybody, but when you're on sort of an unmasking journey and you're trying to figure out who you are underneath the many onion layers of deliciousness, I would love to say that I have it all figured out and that I am super graceful when it comes to handling situations like this, but I'm just not. And it is almost is a guaranteed everybody goes home in an upset. And I've never really known, because once the mask slips, right, it's all kind of there. And everybody thinks that they're going to be okay with you being a certain kind of a way. Maybe they'll tell you this, or they have their own kind of preconceived sort of idea, right, of what they're going to be like in any given situation, but you won't know until you're actually in that situation. And this time of the year just makes it really interesting because in addition to expectations and dogs sniffing the table and making the camera move, there are a lot of other things. Like there's a lot of lights. I don't know if you can see all the lights we have in the apartment. We haven't finished decorating the tree yet or putting up like our snowy village and stuff. I've just been too overstimulated every time we go to do it. I just get too upset and I just don't feel like do it. Like how do I get anything done ever when this is what I have? Like, what am I supposed to do? I can't do anything. Yeah, and my couch is a giant ass bed. Thank you for noticing. And then also it being a big cooking expedition and a big social thing, and everybody's talking quite loud because they want to be heard over all of the other sundry noises, and even the headphones aren't really cutting it, and there's tears on my glasses. How long have those been there? Were you gonna say anything? Jeez. It's just such a hard thing because you can't really reset it. It would be really nice to think that you could just say like, okay, and we're just drawing a line under everything. But when you're already too far gone, like you're already overstimulated, you don't really know how to put, like, God, I'm sorry. This is like, you just guys are wobbling so much. I'm so sorry. It's like, I love to give him scritches. Anyways, okay, maybe that's a bit better. But when you're already, you can't just like, it would be so nice to say like, oh, okay, and we're just gonna do this, but it all takes spoons. And this is the spoon concept, if you haven't heard of this, a quick Google search will get you up to speed on spoonage. But the idea is like you have so many spoons and each spoon has a varying degree of capacity and functionality. Some spoons have lots of holes in them. Other spoons are very small. Other spoons are very big, like ladles, you know. And different things in life will take a different number of spoons. And I've seen this sort of the spoon theory applied in a lot of different ways, but definitely a spoonie. We spoonies in this house, we like the spoons. We're the spoony people. So there's things that you can do to potentially recover spoons, you know, like go lie down, take a nap, take part in your special interest in some way, like, you know, sometimes that can also be too intense, you know, spend some time in a dark room, but it's never really enough. Like I very often have to sleep it off for hours, sometimes days and weeks until I'm okay again. But yeah, it's not just as easy as just drawing a line in the sand and being like, okay, this is where we've landed. Like we're okay now. It doesn't really work that way, although I wish that it did. And then it's just like, then you have to repair the damage you did, you know, and it's so hard because where's the overlap? Whose needs get to be the needs that are met first? You know, ideally in a perfect world, everybody gets their needs met and we don't ever find ourselves in a situation where one person, but if you can imagine, like, you know, I don't want to, okay, so I can't, how can I use this? So you have two people, okay, and these two people are two water balloons, okay, and one water balloon gets one hole in it, and water, you can see what analogy I was probably going to go with this, but thank you, YouTube, for being the way that it is. The water balloon gets the hole in it, and it's just spewing water everywhere. Okay, and then another water balloon gets two holes in it, and it's spewing twice as much fluid all over the place, right? Water everywhere. Okay, so which water balloon are you gonna assist first, right? Like what's gonna happen there? So this is where the balance is for me. I've never really known how, and I've got some people in my life who we both just kind of know, like, okay, we've both hit our capacity. That's always a thing, because very often, and not just in this scenario, this is just generally speaking, what will happen is it's sort of like, well, we're also dealing with this, or this is also happening, so then I don't get kind of what I need to cope. Like I just kind of get canceled out. And I know a lot of you guys can relate to that in a lot of different scenarios, but very often it'll be like, well, nobody wants to know like why you're acting a certain way or why you're feeling a certain way. It's just like, oh, well, you know, you're being kind of a bitch, or you're being kind of mean, or you're being kind of whatever. And instead of it being like, hey, are you actually okay? Which isn't always a great thing to ask an autistic person in the middle of a meltdown. You maybe think of some way to be more useful. I mean, there's resources out there, and maybe we can talk about that in the future, what you could possibly say instead, or what you could possibly offer instead. Or, you know, check in with your autistic person ahead of time and kind of come up with some strategies and game plans together. But very often, there was an incident over the summer, and I won't go into too much detail to spare everybody, including myself, the embarrassment of the whole thing. But I was experiencing like a pretty bad sort of a shutdown, and I wasn't once asked if I was actually okay, and I couldn't communicate what was going on. And I ended up feeling like I had to apologize for what had happened, even though I felt like I wasn't actually met with any kind of this is honestly, I should get a play button just for this situation back here. Like, I really should. Like, he is trying his absolute best, and I'm just not letting it happen. Group hurt. This is so inappropriate. You are so inappropriate, and I fucking love you so much. To a degree, when you don't communicate ahead of time and you don't let people know that, like, hey, these are things that I may encounter, these are situations that we may experience, you know, together. And I see some autistic people who are like, no, I'll never apologize for my behavior. I'll never apologize. And I can see the valid feeling that there is, where it's just like, why the fuck can't you just look at me and not see a raging monster? Why can't you just see somebody who is actually in the middle of a kind of an emergency situation? And, you know, I don't really know. It's like people just don't, I don't know. And then the other side of me, like today I just filmed a video on imposter syndrome, because what I'm feeling right now is that I'm a liar. I feel like, oh, I'm actually just a narcissist. I'm actually just a really bad person who just goes and wants so badly to treat people badly. And I convinced myself of this like over and over and over again. I've had a lot of therapy for this, okay? I've had a lot of therapy over this. And I really don't want to be like that way, but it is also kind of a fine line between, like, with a grain of salt, narcissism and autism, and how it's portrayed, okay? Not what it is, because there's a difference, but the tendencies and how it visually and how it comes across. Okay, so yeah, I said that. That was a thing that I said, but it's a thing. It's just the honest to Zeus. I sometimes feel like I am just, like, how can I possibly be this way? How can I possibly treat people the way that I treat them? Because don't think for a minute, if you're not on the spectrum and you're listening to this for some reason, good on you. I mean, awesome. Thank you. But don't think for a minute that, like, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I am so aware Don't think I'm not fucking aware. I see the look on your face change, and I know that I have crossed a line, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it because it's not a line I crossed on purpose. I'm literally just malfunctioning. It's just an interesting thing when you get to that point of no return and there's not really anything you can do because everything you do makes it worse. That's what this is. That's why this is a disability. Like, it isn't, like, this is part of it. And you try to explain that to people, but people don't want to listen, or they want to understand, but not in a way that is based on what your needs are. And I get it. And just take it with a grain of salt. None of this is meant to be accusatory or mean. And it's not for your families or anything either. Anybody listening to this, please don't put a spin on it, okay? Just know that when you get to a point in life, a lot of you guys have children, a lot of you guys have grandchildren. You're in my comment section telling me like, well, this is great. Like, I want to do these things for myself now and I can't because it feels like our time has passed. It's not our turn anymore. We missed our turn, and now we've got our turn, but it's not really our turn anymore. Do you understand? Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's such a weird phenomenon and such a bad feeling. Like, I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to win the lottery. I just want to get through a day without breaking down into a sniveling mess. I've gone 5 days with the worst acid reflux of my life. So bad I had to call a doctor who I know doesn't like me, and that's fine. So this is something that we do just to leave on a happy note. So we actually have like a full foam, like a memory foam mattress that we bring out. So we have, that's a chaise, and then there's two, what are they? There's two footstools, like full-size footstools. You know, like, this is why there's so many edits and cuts in my videos. Don't hump it on the internet, please. Don't do that. But this is a life hack, okay? And then also I am sitting in that super, this donut pillow thing that was money well spent. That was money well spent. And I got a Black Friday deal on it because I wouldn't have been able to afford the full price. But this is like heaven. It's like heaven, especially with all the acid reflux, because I can actually like lay back and it's just really good. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Sadly, I wasn't able to find it on American Amazon, which is absolutely ludicrous, but there are a lot of other ones on there. So maybe I can find some to link that are like comparable to this. I hope you've had kind of, not a chuckle, but like, I hope you've enjoyed this little talk. I would love to get your thoughts and your feelings and stuff down below. Let's have the nice open discussion that we always do on my channel. I love and appreciate you all so much. I am sending you strength if you two are struggling right now, and just love and patience and understanding, because I know that we all need it. And I will catch you guys in my next video. Happy stimming. Bye. Such a freaking weirdo. You are that is so inappropriate. That is so inappropriate. Oh my God, Gru. What did you do? What did you do? He's like, I didn't do nothing.